One thing that kind of sets me apart from a lot of the other video professionals that I work with is many of them came into video through photography, whereas I came in from theater. And that gives me a very different outlook on how I work with people and how I work with the talent. And it meant I had a lot of catching up to do with photography, and I'm still catching up. But directing, working with talent, helping people on camera, that was one thing that I had a different perspective on and a certain leg up. And here are some of the lessons that I've learned of how to help direct people on camera, part of an overall series of lessons of running your own projects as a filmmaker. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Michael Bruner of Brogan Video. When you're working with someone on camera, it's very easy, especially because you're the director, you have 1,000 things to deal with. And if you're also the writer, if you're doing the script supervising, there's just so many things you have to consider. It is very easy to overdirect, because you want someone to remember not only their lines, you want them to remember their blocking, you want to remember the motivations, you want to remember the notes from all the previous takes, you want to remind them of everything else that's going on in the scene and where that scene plays into the whole story, and you can completely overdo it and drive people crazy. Most of the time, you just need to focus on a couple of things. There's usually the limitations, such as, well, you can't step right here because there's a big hole in the floorboards and we're just not going to film that, or there's some cable, you need to step over that, you just need to remember that so you don't trip. The limitations, and of course other things like, don't turn your head too far away, the camera can't see you, and don't touch the microphone or anything like that. But usually there's a very simple motivation. A very simple, I just need you to focus here, and I need you to do this. Less is more. Don't keep overwhelming people with the same details. Remind them of the things that are important, especially if there's a dangerous environment. I mean, if you're filming around sparks, fire, stuff like that, then by all means, keep reminding them, stay away from the fire, stay away from the fire. I said stay away from the fire. Other than that, just give people time to absorb everything. Some people can be very fast. You give them a note, snap. Other people, they need to absorb it like a sponge. Tell them what you need, back up, give them a chance to absorb it. Less is absolutely more. You should always focus on telling the actors what they need to know, not everything. It's always important to remember who you're talking to. You don't want to be telling the lighting person about how the sound is going to be, unless, of course, the lighting equipment is interfering with the sound. And you don't want to be talking to the script supervisor about the motivations of the scene. That's for the actors. Make sure you're always telling the right information to the right people. And when you're working with people on camera, they need to know what they're focused on. They need to know what you expect from them, but you don't want to overwhelm them. You want to give them clear, concise notes, and you want them to know exactly where you're going. There was a Japanese director, Mizoguchi, who supposedly would allow his actors full, complete, unfettered reign of the scene when they were filming. He would tell them where they needed to start and where they needed to stop for the sake of the camera, but other than that, they could move through the space however they wanted, and he would just film it. What a brave way to work, because I just have a hard time seeing how well that would work. Most of the time, there's a lot of limitations on where you can film, where the actors can be. It's complicated to know where the lighting is, where the microphones are set, where the eye lines are supposed to be. So I think it's a very good idea to just walk the actors through the scene so they can focus on what they need to do within those confines. let them know, I want you to walk up here. I want this person to come here. I want this to happen. I want you to turn. I want this confrontation to happen. I want you to go here, look this way. So they have a very clear idea as to what you're going for. Always be open to their ideas, and if they have any doubts or if they have any changes, because they're going to see the scene very differently from you. But if you walk through the scene, I think that gives them a good confidence of physically what the space is going to be like. The downside to walking someone through the scene is they can feel like you're trying to tell them exactly how you want them to perform and exactly how you want them to be. So when I say walking through the scene, it's just like major body motions, but let them take care of all the details. You don't want to dictate exactly what you want them to do, but you want to be clear, and most of all, you want to inspire them. You don't want to tell them, this is exactly what I want, unless you are 100% clear on what that is. It is so much better to get them into the right emotional state, the right headspace, to where they will create spontaneously the kind of energy, the kind of power that you're looking for. If you can really rev them up to get them to do the kind of performance that you want, that is going to be far more powerful than you just telling them exactly how you want them to do it. Always inspire. I heard a fun comment once from someone who did a lot of student films, that actors are the people who tell you what you can't do. And I just can't imagine being in a situation where I had that much conflict between me and the people on camera. I'm sure some people can work that way, but I just can't. You have to address the concerns of the people on camera. Yeah, there might be some times where you have to say, okay, I'm sorry your shoes are uncomfortable, but we need to get through this scene and the shoes aren't showing up at all. Or I need you to do this and I need to go through. There are some times where you need to be firm, but that doesn't mean you're ever allowed to be dismissive. You always need to address your actors' concerns, because if they trust you, if you support them, if you are really there for them, then you are going to get 10 times the performance than if you're just trying to force it out of them. Always be clear with them, always listen, and always be ready to adjust your vision if you hear something that surprises you, for better or for worse. It's the way to keep people happy. It's the way to get good work. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I'm Michael Bruner of Brogan Video. Remember, at its best, video is a tool for genuine communication between people, as it should be. So, get out there and share your heart.